Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining me for my review of the 2017 film 47 Meters Down, directed by Johannes Roberts and starring Mandy Moore and Claire Holt. And I would say this film is a combination of horror and suspense, and it seems like there's a lot of mixed feelings about this film, and I have to say that in this particular case, I'm somewhere right in the middle. So the basic plot of this film is pretty straightforward. Basically, two sisters go on vacation and they decide that they're going to take this trip into this shark cage in the ocean to see sharks and other fish, things like that. And of course, something happens and they basically get stuck in there. And that is the premise for the rest of the film. This happens very early on in the film, and the rest of the film is pretty much like a survival horror type film. Um, I'm very mixed on this film. There's some things I think it does very well and some things that I think it does very poorly. This is one of those movies, in my opinion, where if you just go with the film and just accept certain plot points, you will probably enjoy this film. And if you can't accept those plot points, then you may not like this film quite as much. So some of the things I really liked about 47 Meters Down, the film is very fast-paced. It makes good use of one location. You know, almost all this film takes place in the water, and I thought they kept it interesting for the most part. The film's only like about an hour and a half long, which is also another benefit. A film like this should definitely not be longer than that. I actually think the sharks look pretty good for the most part. I know this was not a huge budget film, but I thought they were pretty convincing. Also, there are jump scares in this movie, but in this kind of movie, I expect that, and I think you need a few of them, and I thought they were pretty effective. I thought they worked pretty well. Also, I genuinely felt there was a lot of tension and atmosphere in the water scenes, and I thought they were done well for the most part. So if all you're looking for is suspense and to be scared a little bit, I think this film's pretty effective. As far as the acting goes, it's fine. It's not great. It's not terrible. It would be what I would call passable. Mandy Moore and Claire Holt are likable enough. They're fine, but they're not really given a ton to do either, to be fair, with the script. And this is where we get into the negatives of the film. Honestly, the character motivations are a little bit shaky in this movie. They try and come up, you know, with reasons for the sisters to do this, but it feels a little bit manufactured and forced, honestly. There's not really too much story at all with any of the supporting characters, although to be fair, they're not that important to the film. But I did feel like the main characters, I could have cared more about their situation of the two sisters if had they been fleshed out more. We don't really get a lot of information on them. We care about what happens because of the situation, but not so much about the characters themselves. I thought this could have made it a stronger film if we knew more about the characters. Also, this film does feel a little contrived. There's certain things that happen at certain points in the film that are very, very predictable. And, you know, they're used basically just to advance the story. It's like, of course, this thing has to happen at point A so we can get to point B. And like I said, it's just very predictable. There were a lot of times I saw what was going to happen coming, you know, which is never a good thing, even in a film like this. Also, some of the dialogue in parts of this film is really, really anywhere from average to bad. There were a few lines that made me cringe. I actually wonder if parts of this film would have been better as a silent film. I know that would be a harder sell to get the film made, but I almost feel like some of the dialogue is so ineffective, we'd be better off just seeing everything visually and not really hearing anything. I didn't think a lot of the dialogue added a lot to the film, in my opinion. Then there's the ending of the film, which I'm not going to give away in this review, but let me just say I have mixed feelings about it, and I'll just leave it at that. I could see people really liking or really not liking the ending, depending on your point of view. So overall, 47 Meters Down is a very mixed bag for me. I do think it is fairly effective as a suspense horror film if all you're going into it for is the scares. But if you're looking for a more character-driven film with a lot of great plot elements, you might want to pass. So I'm going to give 47 Meters Down a 2.5 out of 5. Like I said, I'm pretty neutral toward this film overall. So that'll do it for my review of 47 Meters Down. And as always, thank you very much for watching.